You are now
listening to
East Bay Radio. You are now
listening to
East Bay Radio.
That ball is at the warning track and it is gone. You are listening to East Bay Live here in the high hills of Hayward. I hope you're doing alive and well in this chaotic landscape that we are currently living in, called the United States of America. But if we are going to be disregarding that, we have a great show for you coming up in just a bit with plenty of baseball to talk about. With me today, of course, like the previous week, we have Stan, the man from the Yanks. Thomas Inglewood, how are you doing today, brother?
I'm doing good, kind of.
Hopefully the other person who's doing all right is an observer with the experience and a plan. His name is Kevin DeRoff. How are you doing?
Doing good. How about you?
I'm doing all right, and I am your producer and, of course, your main host, Dom Torres, known in other spaces as the editor of comicreleases.com. But today I am just your incredibly enigmatic Dodgers fan, here to say that we have found ways to denounce the Trouncers, and by that I mean the Dodgers have only lost one game in the 3 series that they have played thus far. Here again, we have a great show for you today. We have an epic preview of the World Series on a detour, along with a recap of some of the previous series, including the Dodgers and the Brewers and the Blue Jays and the Mariners. And I hope, again, we all have fun. We have a lot to talk about. Let's go ahead and start off with a recap of the Dodgers and Brewers, because I just want to get it out of the way. I just want to get my fandom and my excitement and toxicity out of the way, okay? Like, I just feel like there's so much emotion instilled in me right now. But I want to bring it over to you first, Thomas, because you saw these Dodgers last year in the playoffs in the World Series, and of course it had an ending that I don't think dispel a lot for Yankees fans. But what did you see in the Dodgers Brewers? And just for a quick recap, the Dodgers did beat the Brewers in a 4-0 entourage and a sweep.
Like Jeter said, man, the Dodgers are a juggernaut. They have everything. They have the pitching, the hitting, and the bullpen. But the bullpen was a little shaky in the regular season, but it's been lights out since the playoffs. They've only lost one game, and that was against the Phillies, who were the number 2 seed.
Mm-hmm.
But they're just a super team. That's why they swept Milwaukee. You got Ohtani, Yamamoto, Mookie Betts. They have 4 MVPs on the team?
Clayton Kershaw,
another MVP.
They have MVPs everywhere.
No, but the thing to really look at is the Dodgers pitching staff. When you have Snell and Shohei Ohtani, which we go more about, but recording together 10 strikeouts, it's pretty amazing. Both going long distances, which is equally important, especially in these playoff matchups.
Yeah, I agree.
I think the one thing that the Dodgers have been able to sort of find ways to mitigate in terms of the damage was just how unstable the bullpen has been. Granted, the Dodgers aren't playing some of their key guys that they got during the offseason, like Kirby Yates, Tanner Scott especially, who the Dodgers signed for a 4-year, $72 million contract, has not appeared in these playoffs thus far. But it's been very vital and important to the Dodgers that they have gotten the big starts that they have gotten from Blake Snell, who had the 10th highest game score ever recorded in a playoff game, Yamamoto, who went game 2, Tyler Glasnow getting game 3 with 6 innings, and then, of course, Shohei Ohtani, who might have just had the most spectacular performance in baseball history. But what did you guys think when you saw that stat line of 10 strikeouts, 6 innings pitched, and on the other end, 3 home runs?
He's God. Simple as that. I don't think there's ever will be a performance quite like Shohei Ohtani ever again, unless he just totally breaks it himself. I could totally see it again coming up, and we have to look again what game Dave Roberts decides to put him in to pitch, but absolutely insane. I mean, coming away at your first at bat, a leadoff homer, then coming with these strikeouts, Thomas, I don't know if you agree with that kind of assessment of Shohei.
Yeah, he's the Babe Ruth. He's the man right now. He's better than anyone. He's a good all-around player. Not too many pitchers can hit 50 home runs every year and steal 50 bases.
And not too many pitchers can also strike out 10 in a win or take all playoff game like Shohei Ohtani, and at the same time do it behind the plate. I mean, just to see that it is, I think, the greatest playoff performance I have ever seen from anybody, not even just in baseball, but just overall in any sport that I've watched, basketball, football. It's the equivalent of somebody in football getting 2 sacks and scoring 2 touchdowns. Like, that doesn't happen. And to have seen that live, I got a chance to watch it live on that Friday night. I decided to forego playing Pokemon to watch the Dodgers, to watch Shohei Ohtani take his magic out. And if you are just tuning in, you are listening to the Warning Track with your host, Thomas, Kevin, and of course, Dom here talking about Shohei Ohtani and just his absolute performance. But baseball, I think at the end of the day, it's a team effort, and Shohei Ohtani had not shown up for most of the playoffs, but a lot of the teammates on the Dodgers have picked up the slack in the meantime. You look at guys like the pitching staff that you all mentioned, guys like Mookie Betts, guys like Tommy Edman, who had a super big clutch hit against Jacob Mizorowski in Game 3. It isn't just the Dodgers having this one superstar. It's just having a team full of impact players across every single position.
Yeah, there's no holes in that lineup. There's no easy out. Unlike other teams, you may have that 1 or 2 hitter where you're like, you can kind of breathe a little. Throughout that lineup, you can't breathe at all. And like you mentioned earlier, yeah, Ohtani was cold going into that Game 4, and he must have lit a match or something, threw some gasoline on himself or something, and just went off and led them to their 2nd consecutive World Series.
I know. I guess the only person in the lineup that you could say that is a possible liability is Paz. But considering, I mean, even in Game 2, he had to go kind of have a double that really set the stage for Muncy. So, like I said, kind of going what you just said, Dom, guys step up and make impact. Even if they're not like considered the best hitter or a great hitter, they're making impact plays.
In the playoffs, you never know who that player's going to be. It could be your number 9 hitter. It could be your number 6 hitter. You never know. It could be a guy who's batted 180 the whole season. He comes in the playoffs and just goes off. Kind of like Harrison Bader did a few years ago. I don't know if you remember that.
I do. He had in 2023 against wait, hold on. Was it 2022 against the Astros when they got swept in that ALCS? He hit like Barry Bonds. I remember that specific series. Or am I getting that wrong?
No, it was that, and then the first series against Cleveland that year?
I think you're right.
I can't remember who we played that
I think you're right, and it's funny you mentioned Harrison Bader because Bader played for the Phillies this year, and he got injured in that first game against the Dodgers, and he ended up being one of the guys that, I mean, you put Nick Castellanos out there, and he did not show up in the playoffs. He had one of the most embarrassing outs on a wheel play in Game 2 against the Los Angeles Dodgers. But enough for talking about the Dodgers. I think everybody has their minds set on, okay, like they got this awesome team. I want to go around the table and ask you, if you are a Brewers fan, guys, let's just say you two are Brewers fans, what would you be feeling right now just seeing the way that this team collapsed in 4 games against the Dodgers?
Well, I don't think you could be too mad. I don't think anybody really suspected them to go as far as they did. I mean, they did have an offensive collapse. They only had 14 hits total with 118 batting average. So overall, this is a very lost series. But to be honest, guys, looking back, like no one suspected the Brewers of all teams to really make an impact. Especially you can look at a guy like Andrew Vaughn. Do we expect any? No. Get traded to the White Sox, goes on a tear. So there's a lot of things you can have. They have a lot of great players on team, and they're very young, and they can definitely kind of make an impact the next year. So we'll see what happens.
I was expecting that series to go a lot different. The Brewers were 6-0 against the Dodgers during the regular season, so I feel like maybe that would have been a series, Maybe go to Game 6 at least. I was not expecting a sweep. I did think the Dodgers were going to take that series because they've had success against the Brewers, but I was not expecting that sweep at all. If I were a Brewers fan, I'd be really disappointed. They were the number 1 seed. I mean, they came out of nowhere and just took over the entire game. They had the best record.
It is really difficult, I think, to sort of get into the mind. And granted, the Dodgers have beaten the Brewers. I think this is the 3rd time in the last 6 years. The Dodgers beat them in famously 2018, where it was a 7-game series. Famous Brandon Woodruff home run, who did not play against the Dodgers, by the way. We should mention that the Brewers rotation was very injury-riddled to start off with the playoffs, and that they just had to tear through something together. Obviously, just getting to see that specific 2018 series pan out the way it did, I was sort of expecting something similar, but I also told Thomas before we got on that I wouldn't have been surprised if the Dodgers swept the series. Obviously, that is what happened, and now the Brewers are going to have very, very tough questions in the offseason. What happens with Freddie Peralta? There was a report created by Andy McCullough from The Athletic, where his sources told him that Freddie Peralta, who was their ace this season, will most definitely get Cy Young votes, probably end up 3rd or 4th, depending on where the voting end lies, is going to be shipped out, most likely this offseason, due to monetary constraints, which feels very weird to say, as they have an $87 million payroll. You also look at some other guys in their rotation, like a Brandon Woodruff, where you might be shedding off salary because of some of the other guys that are coming up in the system. So a lot of roster turnover by the Brewers. They are going to maintain the same hitting core for the next 2 years at least. That is when 2 years is when their catcher Wilson Contreras has his contract up at the end of the year. But you're looking at the overall totality. Just still a very surprising season by the Brewers in a very good way, getting the number 1 seed, like you guys had mentioned. It's just that you never like seeing the end of the rainbow and then getting absolutely crushed with your dreams being pummeled by a team that has the same aspirations, if not bigger.
Yeah, and I'm just seeing here that the Brewers are actually 3-10 against the Dodgers in the postseason all time. So I guess that series kind of expected how it's supposed to go for some people.
It kind of did.
But they did. In 2018, they took them to Game 7, so maybe that would have meant a little bit, at least for me, especially having the best record this year and going 6-0. There's no way you could have expected a sweep. No way.
I expected a sweep because that is just what the Dodgers do, and we are on the warning track where we do expect a lot of fiery talk. But before we get into the recap of an amazing, otherworldly ALCS, we will be right back here on the warning track at East Bay Live. We will see you then. Give us 1 second, folks.
Believed that we used our smell to divide ourselves in regards to categories of class and sex. Evolutionarily speaking, Hong, our smell has allowed us to survive. For example, if you go to eat something and you smell that it is rotten, you just survive.
And we are back live here on East Bay with the warning track, where we talk everything baseball. We just had the NLCS concluded with very depressing talk from, it seems like, every single point of view of fan. But we do have another series that I just aforementioned on the warning track, where we did mention the Blue Jays and the Mariners faced off in a very tough 7-game series. The Mariners started off with a series opener of a 2-0 game advantage at Toronto, where they took in 2 games against the Blue Jays. The Blue Jays then proceeded to win 2 at their home stadium until Game 5, where Eugenio Suarez hit a grand slam to seal off what would be a 6-2 victory and a 3-2 series lead, only for Toronto to take back the advantage in Game 6 and, of course, Game 7, where George Springer hit the home run of all grand off home runs. Do you guys have any big takeaways from this series? What did you guys see from the Blue Jays, first of all? Let's start off with you, Kevin.
I saw a lot of the Blue Jays One of my favorite moments from the series was Max Scherzer shaking off his coach and manager and saying, "No, I want this game." I think the interesting part is guys just simply stepped up. Vladdy, Springer, guys who are just proven winners stepped up to the bat, and they provided and made an impact. I don't know about you, Thomas.
Yeah, definitely that Scherzer. That's Max Scherzer for you, though, to be completely honest. You know, I wasn't expecting that to go 7, especially after the Mariners took the first 2 on the road. I had really high hopes for the Mariners. I was rooting for them more than I was for the
Yeah,
the
most
Jays.
definitely.
But it's not because I'm a Yankees fan. It's because the Mariners have never even been to the World Series.
No, they haven't even. Could be mistaken, but I don't think they've even won a pennant.
Never.
Never.
Ever.
I think they're the only team who has never won a pennant, which is very surprising considering the talent Seattle
Yeah.
has had,
Yeah.
especially when you look at Johnson, the Griffey. It's just very surprising.
Griffey Martinez, A-Rod.
You can go on and on and on. So it's in disbelief.
Dan Wilson was, who was their current manager, I should say, for the Mariners, was on one of those teams that went to the ALCS, and now he's managing in, of course, the dugout for the Seattle Mariners. But the Seattle Mariners have never won, despite their very. You got Ichiro on your team, man. It's very weird that he's never been to a World Series, and it crushes me as a regular viewer of baseball just overall around that the Mariners have never been at the end of the rainbow. And that's got to be the most depressing thing when you can see it. When you are up 3-1 with 9 outs to go in a postseason game, you expect that you find ways to get those final 9 outs, especially on the road with the momentum riding. It just bums me out to see that the Mariners just could not close the door shut on what was a magical season.
I know, I don't even want to mention it, but it's like, how do you not pull? You had all the momentum going in, and they just blew it. If you're a Mariners fan, you just got to go home crying because there's nothing. Oh, man, I don't know about you guys, but that's like one of the worst moments I think as a fan you can possibly think of, especially as a team where you have not been to a World Series.
Yeah, and then if you look at the series, that game 3 where the Blue Jays just completely exploded on the Mariners, I guess that was a statement game for them, and then they won 8-2 game 4. And I just can't believe they lost.
It's hard to put it into words, the pain, like it legitimately is.
If I'm a Mariners fan, yeah, I'm going home crying. It just can't happen. It can't. And I believe they're the first team to lose in the ALCS after going up 2-0 on the road.
You are correct. My friend actually did a stat head view track on that. I was talking with my buddy from Louisiana last night, and he found out that yes, the Mariners are the only team in MLB history to go up 2-0 in a 7-game series on the road and lose the series.
See, it's hard that they did that. It just sucks that happened, and they've never been to a World Series. So it's like, it's right in front of you, but what happened, it just, that series could have gone differently. It's just, even as someone who's just rooting for them, it's really frustrating, because, like I said, you've never been there, and you were up 2-0 on the road going home with 3 left. All you have to do is take 2 out of 3 at home, A lot easier said than done, but it's more possible than not.
I think the one thing about baseball, and this can obviously go into a completely separate category of should the MLB season be 162 games long, but when you have such a large sample size, it really is difficult to jot down, can we find a way to make this 162 games to the span of, say, a team plays 16 or 17 games? You have no idea how any of those players are going to do in 16, 17 games. It just takes one series to go from, man, this guy is a legend, he can do it all, to what has he done? He's never won a World Series, right? And I think it is enigmatic of the ring culture that sports has unfortunately built. as a system of ideologies in the last 10, 15 years. I think it has definitely permeated the thought of, everybody, including me. I know that I'm spoiled as a Dodgers fan. I've gotten to see my team win 2 World Series, but
Well,
One.
one.
no,
One.
it's
One.
two.
No,
Two.
one.
Stop. No, guys,
One.
we're not doing.
It's a Mickey Mouse, and
It
everybody
is-
knows it.
No, man.
It is.
We had more teams playing that year in 2020.
That doesn't make a difference.
It does make a difference because
We
there
have.
were more
You need
chances
fans.
to lose.
I
There-
mean,
there were
do you-
less
There were more
games.
teams.
Less
to lo-
games.
There were more teams to. You have small sample sizes. I'm saying, like, anything can happen. You guys know this. Anything can happen in 3 games. Anything can happen in 1 game.
Yeah,
And we
but
had more of those that season than any other team in baseball.
there were 60 games played though.
You know who was a Cy Young that 2020 season?
Trevor Bauer.
Exactly. You know, where is he now?
Well, I mean, he's not a great guy or baseball player.
But
So.
so he had like a.
I think he had like a 2.07 GPA.
GPA.
ERA. I was gonna say. Well, I mean,
It's
Trevor,
a lost season. Buster Posey didn't even play for the Giants. He was taking care of his twins. It was a season. It was just make people happy season, especially when you talk about LeBron in the bubble.
Yeah.
Everybody was like, "No, I don't want to play," and LeBron's like, "No, we're gonna play."
Yeah, a lot of good players opted out in 2020 for baseball.
These are the narratives that I just hate because, well, one, you can't take away any of the experiences that those people had, especially with how difficult it was just to overall set up for that specific season with COVID restrictions and travel and
No one's denying that, but I think it goes into baseball. It's 162 games. How much games did they cut for the playoffs?
They didn't cut any of they expanded the playoffs. That's what I said. Like there were, I think there was like 16 teams in the playoffs.
16, really?
Yeah.
I think there was.
Yeah, we faced off against the Brewers in the wild card series that went, it was a best out of 3 series. Oh, the Yankees made the ALCS that year. Or
They did.
I think like they made the ALDS against the Rays. I remember that series. They
know
played in
what?
Petco.
Let's just move on. We're never gonna agree on that. Despite one of the key moments in the game, or was probably Game 5, when you look at Dan Wilson's decision to remove Bryce Miller after 56 pitches, didn't even allow a run, pulls him. I don't know, but in playoff series, especially as a Dodger fan, there are certain moments where pulling the certain pitchers could lead to disastrous effects, and you should exactly know what I'm talking about.
I do, and I actually think that is a perfect layaway into the preview for what we have in the World Series, where you have one manager, John Schneider, who has definitely gotten a lot of flack for taking out his guys way too early. We even saw it in the ALCS this year. Of course, John Schneider, for the manager for the Blue Jays, famously pulled Yusei Kikuchi after 2 innings in Game 2 against the Twins, and that led the Twins to their first playoff series victory in 22 years, I believe it was up to that point. But the reason that I bring that up is because on the other side, we do have the Dodgers, who are led by Dave Roberts, who for the last 2 years has been an incredibly sound manager behind his playoff decisions, playoff marquee. I know that I have definitely nitpicked a lot, especially in 2022 when he put in Tommy Kahnle, Yency Almonte, and Alex Vesia. That led the Padres from a 3-0 down game to a 5-3 series clincher in Petco Park. And I want to kick it off with the World Series preview again by the Los Angeles Dodgers and Toronto Blue Jays. And we're gonna go through 5 different cards. I just want to have you guys give me the quick on who do you think has the bigger advantage between both sides, and then at the end we will all tally up our counts, who we think will win in the series, predictions, and all that. Let's start off with the lineups, though. As you know, lineups are the biggest attraction for the casual baseball viewer and the regular baseball viewer. These are the people that you want to see up at the plate. Who do you guys think has the advantage here? Kevin, let's start off with you.
I mean, how can you not choose the Dodgers? When you look at the lineup, Mookie Betts, Shohei Ohtani, Freddie Freeman, Max Muncy, going on and on and on about, especially when you have Shohei Ohtani, the best baseball player of all time, you're probably not going to win. You're probably going to win with him, my mistake. But I think you just got guys who are proven. My biggest guys who are clutch is always Freddie Freeman and Mookie Betts. Those are the two most solid guys you have in your lineup. They're always going to produce for you. And so when you have those two guys in your lineup with Shohei Ohtani and with Teoscar, with all those talent, I really, like Thomas said, I don't really think there's a lot of holes in this lineup. You can go Pages, but he's been hitting semi-decent, and they don't really need his bat for them to win games. So I don't know about you, Thomas, but I don't know who has the bigger advantage.
I definitely would say the Dodgers have the bigger advantage. They have the better lineup overall. You do have Bichette coming back for Toronto. I don't know if he'll make a difference, though. He hasn't played in, a month and a half? So
2 months, yeah.
2 months, so you can't really expect much from him. Plus, his defense isn't as good. So if you ask me, I would kind of stick with what's working because you got to the World Series without him, so do you really need him, Or
It's a great question to ask, and I think I to add to the Blue Jays, not to demean anything from them, Vladimir Guerrero Jr. is one of the best talents in the world, appropriately paid $500 million, one of the best first basemen in baseball, if not the best first baseman, somebody that you do not want to be facing off at the plate. Off on the other hand is the cheater George Springer, who famously robbed the Dodgers at the 2017 World Series. 2017 World Series MVP, who has been absolutely on fire this postseason. That's just what good hitting does. He had one of the best years of his career this year. And we also have a couple of guys out for the Blue Jays. Anthony Santander, who was one of their bigger offseason pickups earlier in the year. I think he signed a 4-year, $100 million deal. He is out. We don't know how long, but we know he's definitely going to be out, at least for the part remainder of the first spot of the World Series. But I would give the Dodgers the advantage in the lineup. It's just, there are no holes. You want to talk about guys where can we get around 7, 8, or 9? You have guys like Tommy Edman and Kike Hernandez hitting in those spots, and those two guys always find ways to make plays in the postseason with their bats. So I would definitely give it to the Dodgers, but I don't think it's no slouch to the Blue Jays. It's just really hard to choose the Blue Jays lineup. Like when you mentioned Shohei, Mookie, and Freddie, it doesn't get much better than that.
Yes, but the Blue Jays got some talent. I mean, you got Vladdy sitting 442.
Pretty insane.
I know, that's insane to think about. So they're not totally out of it. I mean, there's no inherent weaknesses in this Blue Jays lineup, but there's no one that really shines me away except for Vladdy. I mean, I just don't see how, looking at the players, I think there's just a clear talent differential when it comes to the hitting. And I think the Dodgers are really going to pull away.
Okay.
Yeah, and you got to think, for the Blue Jays, other than Vlad and Springer, a lot of those guys just got hot at the right time. I mean, Kirk has been going off this postseason, and he's okay with the bat for the most part. He's a good defensive guy. 2-time All-Star, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
But they're unmatched, but you never know. Blue Jays have home field advantage. They've been good at home. Roger Center gets really loud, really loud.
It does indeed, but the Dodgers are also 4-0 on the road, and if I'm a Dodgers fan, I'm not really worried about not having home field advantage because the Dodgers have never had home field advantage in the playoffs, and they have still run through it like clockwork. Quick question on the defense. Who do you guys think has the advantage here? We'll start off with you, Thomas.
Definitely the Dodgers. Multiple Gold Glovers. You got Freeman there. Mookie's at short. Gold Glove finalist.
Okay. Kevin, how about you?
I agree. Have to agree the same. I think overall, I think the Dodgers have a better team in terms of defense. But I mean, I don't think defense is gonna be the biggest factor in this game. I think both teams are good defensively. Hopefully, I guess the shortstop position, the Blue Jays are very much kind of with that Bo Bichette, and I'm very much gonna pronounce his name, but Isaiah
Connor Falefa.
Former Yankee.
Former Yankee. That's right. Didn't he get traded mid-game?
Did he? I'm not sure.
Not sure. Someone did. But I really don't see the defense being a big issue.
Okay.
Especially, it could be totally wrong. Who knows?
All right. We got the defense there from our two analysts. Starting pitching. Thomas, Who has a better starting pitching, the Dodgers or the Blue Jays?
I think it's obvious the Dodgers. They have 5 aces.
Totally agree. I do like, however, Kevin Gausman, former Giant, so I'm always cheering for him. But there's no one really that wows me. I mean, Kevin Gausman is a guy who's always steady, but when you look at Blake Snell, Kevin Gausman, Snell is better. Yamamoto, Shane Bieber, Yamamoto. At that third spot, I think Glasnow would definitely come in Game 3.
And
I don't know if
yeah.
Scherzer's going to pitch in that spot, but overall, the Dodgers have a clear-cut better talent, and I think that's what makes them the best team by far.
Got a hot take. So if Gausman does pitch against the Dodgers, which will probably be Game 1, he'll get lit up.
Okay,
Lit up.
there you go.
He'll get lit up.
Yeah, there's nothing overpowering about his stuff, but he's very much consistent in how he delivers each pitch and his location. He's very much a control pitcher, but he can line up a radar gun for sure. But yeah, who knows?
Who knows, indeed. And let's go to the last spots before we end this specific segment on East Bay Live. Relief pitching. Who has the advantage here?
Toronto.
Yeah, I can't get behind the Dodgers pitching staff one bit. I guess you got Yamamoto coming in, and also I just don't know. I just feel like their bullpen's very unsteady, and sometimes for past history of Roberts, who knows he's going to make the right move.
All right, and real quick, around the gun. Thomas, who you got winning?
Dodgers in 5.
Kevin, who do you got winning?
Dodgers in 6.
And Dom says Dodgers in 4. I don't think it's going to be competitive.
Whoa.
I think we're going to continue our postseason dominance, and hopefully that prediction rings true. As this
Do you guys
is
ruin baseball?
hey,
Yeah.
that's okay.
It's-
We'll continue to ruin it in the years to come, which will lead to a lockout next year. But that is all for a future installment of the Warning Track. I am your show host, Dom Torres, CR.com assistant editor, with my best buds, Thomas, Kevin. Thank you so much for joining me today here on my escapade from the regular sports life.
Thank you.
Awesome to be on.
And we will see you guys soon on to the next one from East Bay Live.
listening to
East Bay Radio.
listening to
East Bay Radio.
Welcome back to the high end of the California Top Hills here in Hayward, California. I am your producer and moderator today, Dom Torres. Most people know me as the guy behind the microphone, but I am here today moderating the chat. We have the ABC XYZ show with two millennials, two Gen Zers. We got values. We want to talk about it, and we are ready to rumble. And I've got four amazing guests here. And I just want to say, as somebody who is a part of Gen Z, I have biases, and I do prefer, I think one over the other. But we have a fantabulous show ready here in the ringer. I'm just gonna say though, I think Gen Z's got it unlocked. But I'll let my panel figure it out for you guys.
Hello, everyone. My name is Jasmine.
I'm Eli.
It's your boy Ariel.
My name is Brendan.
And today we are going to talk about the differences between Gen Z and millennials. So I'm going to go ahead and just get started. Personally, I can say that honestly, millennials are just better. Like, let's
for context, what generation are you part of?
So for context, I am a millennial.
Okay.
And I'm a 90s kid through and through. And I guess you guys who are Gen Zers.
Gen Zs.
Yeah. What year were you born?
01, baby.
2002.
Okay. And then what year were you born?
I'm a millennial. I was born in 1995.
Okay. I'm 96. Let's go.
Honestly, from what I hear online is that even being born in 1997, you're still a Gen Z, no?
Yes.
I think 97 is the cutoff.
The cutoff.
I believe.
So 96 and below, that's just...
Yeah, that's like 90s.
Don't say it like that. We
through.
don't have AARP cards yet. I mean, we're not gonna get Social Security. It's gonna run out before it's
Facts.
our turn.
Facts.
But I want to bring something to you guys. Do you guys get called Unc?
I get called.
I would say, Jasmine, do you get called Unc a lot?
No, I do get called auntie though, like jokingly, because I think I'll be turning 30 next year, and so I think my friends and I, we jokingly are like okay, that. Cute auntie, got her career, doing her thing. So I think there is this joke of okay, you're 27 plus or whatever, so you might be considered like the auntie, maybe in comparison to someone who's...
I am an uncle. I have nieces. I have a handful of nieces. I don't know how many. I don't keep track of them all.
Look at that.
I mean, if we're talking about the existence of little children that would be considered nephews and nieces, I also have them.
Yeah.
Not a lot,
okay. All right. So you're an auntie.
Yes.
Yeah,
two children, but that's
you any nieces, nephews, or baby mamas running around? No.
He would be a bad influence.
No, excuse me. No,
Gen
just
your uncle over here now.
Just my younger brothers had their dad got married, right? So now they have their first child with the wife that he married. So I guess I am considered an uncle, I guess.
I'm screaming.
You made a child in wedlock sound like the most confusing family situation.
I have a confusing family. I have a lot confusing.
Show us where it ends up.
Yeah.
That is crazy. Yeah. So I guess for me, there are some pros and cons, when it comes
to being old.
No. I think in the context of this whole dynamic of, what is the who is the greater generation, I guess, in regards to millennials versus Gen Z. I think for me,
careful, Joe might be listening and he might burst in here with his Gen X.
Hey!
No one wants to hear about Gen X right now. They are a great generation. I'm not gonna lie.
There's Joe pounding on the door.
Culture, music, I'm not gonna lie, but they're not a part of this conversation right now.
Damn, bro.
But I will say, for pros and cons, I think the pro of being a millennial. Honestly, I just think like there was so much culture between 90s and like early 2000s, you know. I think like music, the dances, you know, in comparison to now, I think Gen Z, you guys have like your TikTok dances and stuff. Like,
I think that
womp
we
womp.
no, I think
Y'all
we
can't
were
dance
the
for real,
one.
for real.
But yeah,
I actually can't dance.
but yeah, I feel like we're the ones that still brought like the light to every. We literally making this world pop, bruh. You guys are, you guys are
Making it pop
dead
in what way would you say?
with all like. So you want to go? Or you
No, just finish.
just with all the social media and all our new phones that we got and like all the new branding culture, and I feel like we're the ones that made it more out there.
You guys are the reason we have poor communication skills.
I mean, let's be honest.
You guys didn't have a
Gen
phone, so-
Alpha is the one building the phones in other countries, but
I mean,
Hey, speaking of a phone,
Look,
I
ring,
mean-
ring the alarm. I've been through this too long.
I mean, all I was gonna say is like, at the risk of sounding like a fence sitter, I just like, it was like a super recycled